Hey, this ThinkerThunker. Remember this video? I released this back in 2015. I called it Bigfoot versus Buffalo, and man, it blew up. It went viral, or at least viral for me. It got like 3.5 million views. It was literally covered by news channels all around the planet. And I guess it really just captured the imagination. People thinking of these four massive forest giants following a herd of buffalo through a snowy national park. I mean, that's amazing. But all I was really able to do back then was try to prove how impossibly large something was. So here's what I did. I took a copy of this thing, I brought it up to the foreground, parked it right there beside the buffalo. And my point was, hey, these buffalo are enormous animals. They're like 6 foot tall at the top of their back. And this thing standing next to them now is every bit that tall, except it was filmed way back further away from the camera, which means in actuality, it's 7 foot tall, 8, 9. I mean, who knows how tall this thing really is? But the thing is, that's not really definitive proof. I mean, it's interesting, but it's not proof. So you could say that I'm now like ThinkerThunker 10.0. I've learned some things on the job over the past decade. I've developed an image-based species identification system based on a science called photogrammetry. So in this episode, I am going to show you 100% for sure what these four dark, mysterious things are on two legs back here in the background. So let's go check it out. Okay, so our dark mystery figure back here, it was filmed by a cheap webcam years and years ago. It was filmed at a great distance away from the camera, and now I've zoomed in on it like 800%. So I don't care how high a quality of footage it started out in life, it's going to look rough once it's put through all of that. So it's a little blurry. That's fine. It's a humanoid shape. All we need to see is right there. We see its leg, its knee kicking. And so right here, that marks its knee area. Come down here to about its ankle area. And we know the thigh is about the same length as the shin. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop in a red line that marks the top of its thigh or crotch area right there, right at the bottom of its crotch. Now I'm going to drop in three friends. This, of course, is pop superstar Taylor Swift. One of these two Taylors I have grotesquely distorted. See if you can tell which is which. I stretched out her torso and her arms a whopping 20% longer than they were, and I shortened her legs by a full 10%. And if you'll notice, Patty from the Patterson film over on the far left, distorted Taylor, and today's mystery figure, all three line up on the crotch mark. All three have these enormously long torsos. And if we look over here at the real Taylor, we see this red line hits her mid-thigh. So that should be proof to you that Patty and today's mystery figure are non-humans. Okay, so let's just jump right in, do the big comparison, and see what today's mystery figure is. So here's what I have done. I have measured the three on the left with my graphical species measurement system. The shortcut name for this is proportional DNA. And I've been doing these videos for over a year now for my patrons and YouTube members. So I'm not going to walk through every little step of this. Just go read my book, Solved. It will explain it all the ins and outs. But in a nutshell, all I'm doing here is taking the three longest measurements you could take on a figure like this. I'm measuring the torso, the arms, and the legs. Then I take these 5 measurement bars, which, by the way, were the same for all three over here on the left. We'll call them green team. And I put them all in what I call a pDNA chart, which allows us, for the first time ever, to see these body proportions in relationship to each other. So now we can see that the three on the left have a torso and arms and legs all the same relative length. And I can tell you, after spending well over a year measuring all the large primates, even other large predators, I can tell you there's no other species on the planet that has body proportions even remotely close to Green Team here. So that alone is proof that today's mystery figure and Patty over here, whatever they are, they're the same thing. And their body proportions, if we could see under that fur, look exactly like distorted Taylor's here. All right, now the $1 million question is just how close are human proportions to forest giant proportions? Because if there's only, like minute differences, then it's kind of game over on my whole species identification system here, because it's just not possible to get super accurate measurements from photographs. So here we go. Let's see. We've got the real Taylor Swift over here on the right, and we've got Ryan Reynolds, couple of billionaire kids here. They represent the body proportions of every normal, typical adult human on the planet. Doesn't matter if you're male, doesn't matter if you're female, doesn't matter your ethnicity. We all share the same body proportions. And just to prove that, Ryan and Taylor, I was able to measure them both with the exact same measurement bars. All right, so let's drop in their chart here. And now let's look at these two. You tell me, do the body proportions for Green Team match the body proportions from Red Team? No. Are they kind of close? No. They are profoundly different. And for you nitpickers who are just already foaming at the mouth, worried sick because you think I'm an inch or even 2 inches off on some of my measurements, I would have to be about this wrong on my measurements for both today's mystery figure and Patty. I would have to be that wrong on their leg measurements. And I would have to be that wrong, about 20% off on their torso and arm measurements before their body proportions lined up with our human body proportions. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm sorry for you guys, but this is just one of those instances where measurements that are close enough truly are good enough. And if they weren't, I am an expert with scientific measuring devices. I used to build helicopters. So if super precise measurements were required here, I'm qualified. But that is simply not the case. All right, everybody, that is all I've got. And so now, after all these years, no more guessing, no more scratching our heads, wondering what it is we're seeing back here. No more people claiming, that's just a bunch of skiers in black ski outfits. No, it's not. These are 100% non-humans who just happen to share the same body proportions as the Patterson Bigfoot and several other big furries that I've measured in my book and videos over the past year. All right, here's what I'm thankful for. My patrons and my YouTube members, they are the most important people on the planet to me. If it wasn't for their support, none of this would be possible. Also, special thanks to the people who buy my books, caps, and t-shirts, and the people who hit the thanks down below. You guys are the best. Support the channels you watch, or don't be surprised when they're gone. All right, everybody, take care.